Welcome to the T Row Show. It's your host, Keith. I'm going to change subject matter from the ones we have been doing for a while over to the reign of the heavens, because I never really understood the significance of finding it or rediscovering it. And it wasn't just me. It was 45 people that translated. They had to do it in South Africa because the Catholic Church was they were threatening their lives on the translation of the Bible, and they called the book the Scriptures. Now they've changed that book already. They got in there and changed it on the sales, so they're still selling the book, the Scriptures. It's just a book called the Scriptures, but it's a different form. They remove some things and stuff like that. But there were 45 people that took the Bible and they said, okay, we're going to retranslate this because it's coming from the Paleo Hebrew, and where they didn't have the Paleo Hebrew, they had the Greek. So that's what they could do. That's what they had with it, and the way that it reads is completely different. Well, clearer. Let's put that, not completely different, but it's clearer than the King James version. I won't go back to the King James Version Bible. So what I want to do is explain to everybody, once again, we've done this before, and it'll be in a different light this time, because I've learned a whole lot more about the reign of the heavens since the time of 2012. It was rediscovered right at the time the Mayan calendar went out. In other words, it was done. And this is when the New World Order thought the world was going to end in 2012. They were putting videos and movies out and all kinds of things, talking about the end of the world. And I'm sure that people that are doing wrong all the time do wish it would be the end of the world, so they don't have to pay for what they're wrongdoing. And they get out of the liability of what they do, like, drinking blood of children and sacrificing them and doing what they're doing today. The reign of the heavens is literally a country, and all of the evidence points to the country being created by Jesus, called Reign of the Heavens. In this book, his name is Yahushua. They have just his name in Arabic. I'm sorry, Hebrew. The hell am I thinking? And his they say in the beginning of the book that it's actually pronounced Yahushua. So the more popular version of his name is Yeshua. So I'm just going to say Jesus for now, just so everybody is comfortable with what I'm talking about. So in the wording of this, what happened is that Yohanan the Immerser, they call it in this book, they call him, him as John the Baptist, proclaimed the existence of the reign of the heavens. The reign of the heavens is drawn near. I'm not saying that Jesus, his kingdom is not spiritual. I'm not saying that at all, because I know it is. It's a spiritual kingdom he was trying to get people to realize that would live forever in a different condition than what you have today. Okay? I'm saying he left us something here on earth also. This is an addition to his kingdom in heaven. So all respect to him. He did do exactly what he said he was going to do. And I believe he left us something here for the end times, a place for us to go, the believers to go, that have zero intention of taking the mark. Taking the mark of the beast. And it can be done by law and legally, like they call, contracts legally, that kind of thing. So first of all, let me explain to you what I'm looking at and where it is in the scriptures. And then we can move on. Okay, here's the scriptures here. All right, there it is. It did switch. Okay. Now it says here's Matthew 4. It says, and leaving Nazareth. This is where everybody gets the terms Nazarene. Okay. He came and dwelt in Capernaum, which is by the sea and the borders of Zebulun and Naphtali. Okay. That is very clear as to where that is. Okay, when they're talking about that, this is an old map of Israel. This was Zebulun right here and Naphtali. I hope the map's seeing it. I'm going to go ahead and stop that and then restart it again. Make sure that you're seeing this. Now, this is from a document that we did in 2012 when the Reign of the Heavens was rediscovered. Okay. The Reign of the Heavens Society was not created by Franco Collins. He had a society called One Heaven. All right, he had nothing to do with us. That was a lie sent out by the CIA. Okay, that was a big lie. And this is Zebulun and Naphtali. This is what they're talking about in the scriptures. Okay, did it switch?
In scriptures.
To the scriptures. Okay. All right, Zebulun and Naphtali. That's what it is. To fill what was spoken by Yeshayahu. I'm sorry, Yeshayahu. That is Isaiah. Okay, the prophet saying, "Land of Zebulun and land of Naphtali, in the way of the sea beyond the Jordan, Galilee of the Gentiles." Okay, it was proclaimed this. All right. The people who sat in the darkness saw a great light upon those who sat in the land and shadow of death. Light arose to them. In other words, they were being taught. Now, and it was said, says from that time, this is Jesus's name in right here in Paleo Hebrew, or no, that's just Hebrew. Began to proclaim and say, "Repent, for the reign of the heavens has drawn near." Now, from a point of view of creating countries, that's exactly what he did when he did this here, from that point of view, because he said he came in, which is by the sea, in the borders of Zebulun and Naphtali. Why mention both in this book? That doesn't make any sense. Unless somebody's doing a survey of land, both Zebulun and Naphtali. Okay. So that land, when they're talking about surveys, they're talking about the land, not any kind of city or anything of that nature. And then the people who sat in the darkness, meaning people that were just under the thumb of Caesar at the time, saw a great light upon those who sat in the land of the shadow of death. Light arose to them. So from that time. Now he's talking about the reign of the heavens. Now the next thing you need to do is you have to have a permanent population in order to create a country. Okay. And that's where he went to Shimeon, called Kepha, and his brother, casting a net in the sea. They were fishermen, and said to them, "Follow me, and I shall make you fishers of men." That was there. Then he went to others, got more of a permanent population. And this was all being done at the same time. A lot of other things that were being done. Okay. So when he was doing things, it was 1,000 things that he was doing in one stroke of a pen, if you follow what I'm getting at there. Okay. So, and Yahushua went to all Galilee, that's what it was called, Galilee, teaching in their congregations, proclaiming the good news of the reign. Okay, the Messiah has come, and healing every disease and every bodily weakness among the people. So he was showing people, hey, yes, I can heal. He was and is the Messiah, the messenger. And I'll get to the son part in a few minutes. And news about him went all out into all Syria, and they brought to him all those who were sick and afflicted of various diseases and pains, and those who were demon possessed, and epileptics and paralytics, and he healed them. And large crowds came from Galilee. Listen to this: Decapolis, Jerusalem, and Yehuda, and beyond the Jordan followed him. All right, now that's international, proclaiming the good news as an international notice. When you're going to different countries and different areas and proclaiming that the reign of the heavens has drawn near, it's here. And the Messiah is here, its leader. Okay, talking about his reign as king. All right, that's creating a country. Now that country's still here. It's just been hidden. In Naphtali and Zebulun, nobody knows that. There's overlay surveys. And when we did this, like I said, I think I said this, I'm getting this information from a document we did with the profile that we sent to The Hague. And nobody objected there. We were waiting for somebody to object, and nobody objected there. They actually got very weirded out of. It was making sense to them. Okay, and I also think that they screwed up in the area of where New Jerusalem was, because when you have York, there's people in York in England, then you have New York, which is in America. Okay, so it just means it's a New York. It's a new town. That's all it is. So when you have Jerusalem and then you have a New Jerusalem, that's got to be in a different area. That's just common sense, basic stuff. Okay, so let me get to that point. Here, Holy Lands, Mount Hermon. This is highly significant into what I'm trying to tell people or show. Now, you always know, number one, you always know that once you found something, okay, and once something has happened, especially when it comes to Jesus, and especially when you start following him, the persecution is relentless. And I mean relentless from the unbelievers. I think the Reign of the Heaven Society temples, and they have claimed that I was claiming to be the high priest, which I'm not. They've claimed that that I have what was it? That I have everybody there gives me their power of attorney to speak on their behalf to Yahweh.
You sit on the throne of God.
Yeah, that I put myself on the throne of God.
You make us bow down to you.
Right. That's another one. These are all kinds of persecutions. And I don't even want to mention the people's names because that's not worth it. Not worth sitting there talking about. This is not one of those kind of videos, okay, where I'm exposing somebody. I'm wanting to show people what this is all about, what I see in this, and why it's here, and why a temple was made out of it. I even have a document that says that Jesus has my power of attorney. Everyone that comes in has a citizen certificate from the Reign of the Heavens. And I'll get into that later. If you could pull up a citizen certificate so we share screens when we get to that point.
Sure.
Okay. Holy Lands, Mount Hermon, United Nations base built to deliver the Antichrist and open the gates of hell. Now, people look at this, oh, that's a conspiracy theory. Well, okay, great. If you don't want to believe, fine. It doesn't matter. You're welcome to walk away without doing any persecution whatsoever. In other words, just because you don't believe it doesn't mean it's not true. Okay, so what I normally do, and this is a natural reaction, I'll walk up to something, and if I don't believe it, I'm not going to cut it down and start trying to correct people. And if you want to believe that, you're welcome to believe whatever you want to believe. You have a right to do that. Okay, so anybody coming in and you suck, you're this, and trying to tear it down and try to tear it away from you for some reason makes no sense whatsoever. That is not loving your fellow man. Okay? You should trust in people that they pretty much know if something's BS or not. Okay? Otherwise, it's really you're not God of the world. It has none of your business. It really is none of your business if you're not a part of it. So it's time to walk away. Go away. Keep your opinions to yourself, whether you call it a cult or whether you call it this or that. Just because you don't understand something doesn't mean it's wrong or that it's fraud. So let's get that straight so people, start understanding what's going on here. All right. This is Banyas. Keep that in mind right there. This is Mount Hermon Reserve. This is Banyas, and this is Mount Hermon. Right at the base, okay? Now, I'm sorry, this was a it's a PDF copy of a before it's news website. They kind of lost it. They took it down basically, but I got a copy of it. Okay, we were able to find this on the Wayback Machine. So that's awesome. So we're able to do this. So we're going to be able to read the whole thing and show you. This was an article on before it's news.com. And what we got here is Hebrew Mount Hermon, okay, is a mountain cluster in the anti-Lebanon mountain range. Its summit straddles the border between Syria and Lebanon. Okay. Now, I don't want to go into the sea level and all that crap. Top is Hermon Hotel in the buffer zone between Syria and Israeli occupied territory, the highest permanently manned UN position in the world. The southern slopes of Mount Hermon extend to the Israeli occupied portion of Golan Heights, where the Mount Hermon ski resort is located. The peak in this area is rising to this 7,300 feet, is the highest elevation in Israeli-controlled territory, and this is it here. Okay, Hermon Hotel. Of course, they're going to make it into a ski resort. That's what they did. Hermon Hotel, highest UN base in this peak of Mount Hermon. Of course, they're going to have that come up. All right, Peter confesses Jesus as the Christ. Right in this area, it says, when Jesus came into the region of Caesarea Philippi, Mount Hermon, he asked his disciples, saying, who do men say that I, the Son of Man, am? Okay, now I'm going to show you where this is. Let me get to the map here. Let me redo this again, and then we got to the map. Okay. That is this right here, okay? This is the mouth of the river, and this is at the base in Banyas of Mount Hermon. This was where the city is, right here. And I'll show you in a little while here, they used to sacrifice people to Pan, the pandemic, the Pan god, half goat, half man. And where this is it's in northeast Israel. Okay, right in Zebulun and Naphtali. Okay, Zebulun and Naphtali. It's right there. That's the mouth of the river, and this is where he is when he's talking to his disciples, which is this city right here. It's an old city that used to be there, and it's right at the base of Mount Hermon, which is up here. And this is the river that goes through. And if you look here, this is the rain of the heavens right there. That's the I can't remember what for the life of me what that lake is. I think it's Red Sea, but I'm not sure. I'll have to go look it up. But anyway, that's where this is here. Now, that's what they're talking about in Caesarea Philippi. That you just saw the map as to where it was. Okay. When Jesus came to that region, he asked his disciples, who do men say that I, the Son of Man, am? He says, so they said, some say John the Baptist, which it couldn't be because John the Baptist, Yohanan the Immerser, had already had his head cut off. It says some Elijah and others Jeremiah or one of the prophets. He said to them, "But who do you say that I am?" Simon Peter answered and said, "You're the Christ, Son of the living God." Jesus answered and said to him, "Blessed are you, Simon Honan," it should be Yonan, "for the flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father who is in heaven. And I also say to you that you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church. The gates of Hades shall not prevail against it, and will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. And whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven." Then he commanded his disciples that they should tell no one that he was Jesus the Christ. And that was in Matthew 16, 13 to 20. And I have the Bible verse as to where that is. I can go through that here in just a few minutes. All right, Mount Hermon is a place of extreme spiritual significance. Not only is the place where the fallen angels landed when they fell, but is also the place where Jesus Christ made the proclamation that he is the Messiah, right there on Satan's domain. Okay? Caesarea Philippi, also known as Baal God, Banyas, all these different names that have been put on this thing, situated 25 miles north of the Sea of Galilee. And at the base of Mount Hermon, Caesarea Philippi, I'm actually pronouncing that right, is in the location of one of the largest springs feeding the Jordan River. Okay, this abundant water supply has made the area very fertile and attractive for religious worship. Numerous temples were built in this city in the Hellenistic and Roman periods. Now, you notice that you don't really hear about this. You always hear about Jerusalem. And the reason why you hear about Jerusalem all the time is because it's a commercial place for the crown, for the Rothschilds. Because the Rothschilds bought the title to Jerusalem in 1834. They had gone and ripped off a bunch of people in a bond market under a war. They reported to people that they were that the wrong side, so-called, won. They bought all the bonds at real cheap and then sold them. Okay, when they figured out the other side had actually won, so they ripped them off, and then they went and bought the title to Jerusalem, and they've been pushing that ever since. They don't push this right here because it's a city that, first of all, it'd be very embarrassing. Number one, that they have the wrong, or they're not supposed to be there. Okay, and that's how that works. But the spring emerged from a large cave that became the center of pagan worship, beginning in 3rd century BC. Sacrifices were cast into the cave as offerings to the god Pan. This little turd head here. Pan, half man, half goat, of fright, thus panic, is often depicted playing the flute. This city, known as Panias, has been corrupted in the Arabic language and its modern name of Banyas. Okay, there's Mount Hermon. This is it right here. This is where he was. Now, Encyclopedia Britannica states that Hermon means forbidden place. The 4th century translator of Latin Vulgate, Jerome, interpreted Hermon as anathema. Mount Hermon was a port of entry for a group of evil angels who corrupted the human race in the days of Noah. Moses wrote, "The sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives, of which they chose. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men which are of old, men of renown." That was Genesis 6, 1 through 4. Now, during the ministry of Jesus, he and his disciples visited Caesarea Philippi, see photo where the Jordan River springs forth in the slopes of Mount Hermon. Now, here's my question. In this particular thing, if you have an issue with him establishing something here on earth, as well as in heaven, right here, here's the picture of it, right there. This is the temple where they used to throw people down the cave, okay? and this was the city itself. Why would he establish his assembly there? Doesn't make any sense. If something wasn't established as it pertains to his kingdom, you know, he says, whatever you bound on earth, you bind in heaven. Right? That's what he's saying. So the Jordan River forth the slopes of Mount Hermon. In the photo, one can see the grotto and cave where Baal worship was in full swing. All right. This was an architect that said this is what the city looked like. Okay, the sanctuary of Pan. Now, this is a plan Satan and his fallen angels have developed since the beginning, and you had better believe that Nephilim are here among us today. They can appear as humans, demons, and remain completely invisible, operating in the shadows. The exciting part of all this is that we're in a generation who will see these things unfold. Some of them are terrifying, while others are exciting. Nonetheless, we are at the brink of the appearance of the Antichrist, who will come from Mount Hermon, the United Nations, NWO, Illuminati, Nephilim, Freemasons, elitist, serpent seed, yes. He will come through this people, a race whose bloodline has been kept pure evil ever since Lucifer, 1/3 of his angels, were cast to earth. Okay, here's Mount Hermon here. With that in mind, howbeit, the United Nations has strategically placed their biggest and most important base at the very top of Mount Hermon, the highest point exactly where the fallen angels landed. I must do a side note. There's been some rabbis talking about they've been speaking to the Antichrist. I just heard this in a video yesterday, that they've been doing that since like the last month or two. The place where ancient Baal worship and blood sacrifice took place, the place has been spiritually marked as evil. Okay, now here's the wild part. In 1666, Louis the 14th of France authorized the building of an observatory in Paris to measure longitude. This was the beginning of Paris Zero Meridian. Believe it or not, according to the Paris Zero Meridian, Mount Hermon and the ancient territory of Dan is located at 33rd degrees east of the Paris Zero Meridian, longitude to 33rd degrees north of the equator, latitude. The 33rd degree became an important part of the Freemasonry, probably due to a history that dates back to the Knights Templar. The French Merovingian dynasty and their family ties to the Danites, the guardians of the Grail. And that's 33rd degree here and 33rd degree there. Okay. It says, can you believe that? The most significant Illuminati Freemason number is 33. A 33rd degree Mason, what are the chances of that happening? Very slim. You see, as I mentioned, this has all been strategically planned out since the beginning. The reason why these things are unfolding as they are is because we're in the days spoken by Jesus Christ himself, where he said, but as in the days of Noah were, see also will the coming of the Son of Man. For as in the days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving marriage, until that day, until the day that Noah entered the ark. And did not know until the flood came and took them all away. So also will the coming of the Son of Man. Then 2 men will be in the field, and one will be taken, the other left. 2 women will be grinding at the mill, one will be taken, and the other left. Watch therefore, for you do not know when your Lord is coming. But know this, that is, if the master of the house had known what hour the thief would come, he would have watched and not allowed his house to be broken into. Okay, there it is again. Jesus warned us. How much more clear can it be? The Antichrist is here, and soon he will be made manifest. He is a son of Nephilim, serpent seed. He will be produced through the UN, who sits atop Mount Hermon. Open your eyes. This Messiah is Satan's counterfeit for the real Messiah, Yeshua. Okay, Satan fell with one thing in mind, to shake his fist at the face of God and to become the Christ that he never was. But there's a problem. There is only one, and there is none like him in all the earth. And he, my friends, is the high priest of the Reign of the Heavens Society Temple, which is this right here. Reign of the Heavens Society Temple. Reign of the Heavens is a country, so we opened up a temple here in the United States of America for people to go ahead and become Reign citizens. And the only thing that you need to do to qualify is become a Reign of the Heaven citizen. Fill out the information below. And what do? Do you accept Yahushua, Jesus Christ, as your Messiah, Lord, and Savior? If you say yes, then we give you a Reign of the Heaven certificate. I, folks, am not the high priest there. I am a subject of Yahushua, Yeshua, Jesus, the Christ. I am his subject, and I cannot claim dominion over any of his property, any of what he owns and what's in his dominions. And you can become one of his citizens. It goes from all the way back then to all the way here. And this country was never known until 2012, when the world was supposed to end. It follows right in Matthew all of the terms and conditions that it takes to establish a country on earth. And I think not for what he only did for us in his kingdom, okay, in heaven, he did it here also. Whatever you bind on earth, you bind in heaven. And I think it's just a mirror image of his land and his possessions. And I thought it was the most exciting thing in the world, but man, don't tell anybody. Not in America, man. You have a lot of people that are non-believers, and they attack ruthlessly. It really bothers them that we did this, and it's actually that this temple. This has even been called a damn temple. That's how bad it's getting. And Yahweh has been called all kinds of things. Jesus has been called all things. They're very anti-Christ. Okay, very anti-Christ. And here's the mission. This is what we do here. Our mission is to help guide people towards Jesus by entering the straight gate and going down the narrow way, which were the only two commands that he left us to do. Go through the straight gate and go down the narrow way. That's all he said. This is where you have to go. Seek the Father with all your heart, mind, and being. Okay? With the goal of reconciling with our Father in heaven, the same Father of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay? So this isn't a devil-worshiping cult, evil thing, whatever. Just because you don't understand it does not mean that it's evil. Okay? Now I'm going to go back to this right here. He said, I am the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the ending, saith the Lord, which is, and which was, and which is to come, the Almighty. Okay? This is going to Isaiah. Talks about the devil. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, and I will exalt my throne above the stars of God, and I will also sit upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Well, good luck with that. Okay, that's not going to happen. These videos aren't working because this is the Wayback Machine. But this is where Jesus was when he said, you've been blessed by our Father in heaven. And then gave him the power to bind on earth and bind in heaven. And this is where they used to sacrifice. This is the hole that they'd send people down. All right. This is actually New Jerusalem on earth. He left this for us so we could protect ourselves. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Here's the mouth of the river right there. And that's Mount Hermon. And what did they do? They made it a ski resort. Good one, guys. Oh, let's just make it a ski resort, make some money on it. And this is a city there. Okay. So that's the back of the temple. This has all been torn down. Okay, well, it's good. It was a lot easier to read this than it was what I did with the PDF. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get another copy of this, so people understand that this is where he's set his assembly, set apart assembly. So therefore, this is New Jerusalem, New Jerusalem, right here. So they missed it. According to the Bible, according to what we're actually looking at, this is where he was. So you'll have to kind of look into that and realize that that maybe your history is not as clear as it was, or maybe you just missed this part. So what we did was we created we put the reign of the heavens. We put that in a trust so nobody could grab it until he comes. Okay. Nobody is in. We also made a law that anybody that claims Jesus's position in the reign of the heavens will lose all their claims. We did that to protect it, because right after that, right after we did this, like a week or two later, some guy comes in and says, "Okay, I want to claim his throne." It was that quick. I said, "No, man, that's not good." And then we went ahead and made a law that was okay. We got to protect this, and then we established a temple, and the temple, which is normal. Okay, this is why what they do in Catholicism, okay, which is they put their churches here, and then anybody that becomes a Catholic becomes subject to the Pope. Ever since the Vatican has become a country. So people don't realize that they're actually giving up their citizenship there. Now, this is how this works and how we have this set up. If you go through the government of the United States of America, you're going to go through there with a resident declaration. What we're doing is we're getting your person out of the Internal Revenue Trust offshore. That's what we're doing. Nobody claims it except for you. Nobody's going after your estate. Nobody claims that. It is not going through a personal trust, personally owned trust. It's going through an actual country. This is why we have to do resident declarations. An actual country, and you're not joining the government of the United States of America. You're going through it back to the States. Once all that is learned, which takes about a year for people to get on to understanding what's going on there, now we have to separate the person from you, the real man and woman, from the person. Okay? Once that happens, because our Father in heaven has no respect towards persons. That's the reason why that's done. That's not because anyone's going to claim your estate or anybody's going to claim your name. You've already made claim to it. There's a publication to it. It belongs to you. There's no liens on it. There's no nothing. And it does not go through any form of personal trust. Okay. Now, the only place on earth that is independent of the New World Order is the reign of the heavens on earth. That's it. It can't be touched. So once you turn to Jesus, you become his citizen. This is also known in other parts of the Bible. I'm not going to get into them, but it is also known in other parts of the Bible. Many Christians know this, but this is literally, you can touch on earth. This is the dirt that you can touch. Okay? And then you become a citizen, meaning your flesh, body, your soul, everything belongs to him. Once you've been claimed by him, no king on earth, according to their oath, can claim you. And therefore, if your choice is to not have the mark of the beast under all these other kings, then you're good to go legally. By contract, they cannot touch you. You've already made that. And that is what we've done. That's what's happened. This is what this has been made into. This is our understanding of it. If anybody else has an understanding that's better than that, or even a clearer understanding, we're all ears. But I personally believe that he left this area on earth, and it was established on earth for this day, for the day where they're going to be coming up with the mark of the beast. Elon Musk is going to try to hook you up to the internet in your head, all this other kind of stuff to get the mark in your head. Okay? Okay, what I've got here, I'm going to show you another thing here. Okay, this is our REIN citizenship certificate. I personally, I process those as the chief of the Fraternal Order of the Reign of the Heavens Society. Okay, it used to be the Reign of the Heavens Society in 2017. Then it was split into the Fraternal Order and the Temple. All right, and the reason why my signature is there right here is because I'm a second witness that you're a citizen as the chief of the Fraternal Order. I'm just witnessing it. I'm not claiming anything. The unbelievers are coming back and they're saying that I'm claiming their estates when I do this because they don't understand anything. It was, you got to remember, unbelievers are very, very ignorant. I'm being nice, very nice about that. I swear, those are the dumbest people because they do not have the teachings of Jesus in them. They don't have the Holy Spirit in them. So they're like, oh my God, it's so bad. Okay. Their interpretation of things is horrible. Meaning they're so often left field and they live out of fear. You got to realize that. So they see a signature there, trustee. It just means trustee means, okay. It means the Fraternal Order of the Reign of the Heavens Society was handed to me in trust so that I would process the citizenship certificates. That's it. And sign as a second witness for you. That's all I was doing.
Well, it's funny, if you receive a certificate anywhere, it has someone who signs it. They're issuing it. All birth certificates have signatures. Any documents you receive anywhere have a who issued it.
Right. Touche. You know, and apparently that's what they're doing. The person that has the authority to do this. But it doesn't mean that you're claiming their estate and everything about them. Now, think about this. I have a citizenship certificate, which means I'm a citizen of the Reign of the Heavens personally, outside of a person, outside of businesses. Me personally, my personal relationship with Jesus, Yeshua, with him, through him to our Father in heaven. That's my personal thing. That is no one's business. That's mine. Okay. If I have a citizen certificate and I'm a REIN citizen, how can a REIN citizen claim anything other than just being a REIN citizen and a subject of Jesus himself within his kingdom on earth as it is in heaven?
And if I could add real quick, all churches have trustees, they have board members, they have committees. Every church out there has that. That's nothing out of the normal to have trustees operate anything.
Right. Okay, so it says issued under the authority of the Temple of Yahweh. The Temple of Yahweh, that was where we put the Reign of the Heavens itself into a trust to protect it. Doesn't mean we run it. Okay, it just means that we're following the Bible as to what this means. Now, that means it's under the authority of Jesus himself. That's it. That's all it is. No one is claiming an estate. No one's claiming you. You are turning to Jesus. No one's trying to be an intercessory between you. This is not the Catholic Church. We don't believe in that. You go directly. You have to go find him yourself. We don't believe in going to him and trying to speak on your behalf or any of that kind of crap. We don't do that. We're not the Catholic Church. So if you're hearing anything like this, any kind of garbage that's being spoken, spewed out of somebody's mouth like a vomit, okay, just to let you know, none of it is true. What's in this video is true. And this is over a period of time. It's almost been 10 years. And it's taken that long to fully realize what's happening and what that was and what it was there for. Okay. The worst that can happen to you is that you turn to Jesus and you become a subject of Jesus, just like it is in the Bible. That's it. That's the worst that can happen. Oh my, that's horrible, right? According to the unbeliever, the idiosa. Okay. So don't let those unbelievers get to you. They've been persecuting me for years over this. They have persecuted the Reign of the Heaven Society temple. They've called it everything in the book other than a temple, other than a place of worship. They actually don't realize, well, I think they do, they just don't care, that it's a hate crime to trash a place of worship and to chastise people for their beliefs, to attack their religion and all those things. They just do it anyways. They don't care. They have no respect for anybody else. They have no boundaries, no nothing. Like I said, my name is just nothing but crap in the whole internet because of people like this. Been trashing this and trashing that. What I honestly think, I think they're jealous. That's what I think's going on. But enough about them. This is what it is. Folks, I believe this is real. Please go through the research. And I think everything that we've done is coming from the Bible. So we're not gonna, we're just saying you're invited. We're not saying you have to do it. We're not saying that you have to believe anything. We're just saying it's here. You're welcome to join. You don't have to go to temple every week. You don't have to be, you don't have to fellowship. You don't have to do any of that if you don't want to. If this is between you and our Father in heaven and Jesus, that's it. Have a good day. We do not need your donations. We do not have a building to support. We don't have any of that. Okay, so it's very, if you want to do it, no questions asked. We're good to go. Thank you very much for listening. And I hope that some people, some eyes have been enlightened today. Your brains have opened up to realize this is probably one of the most persecuted temples in the country by people that claim to be religious people. They believe it's okay to do that. Now you have to ask yourself, why do they care so much? And why would they persecute something? There's no reason for it. They could just go on with their own beliefs. But why would they do it? Who knows? So thank you for listening. And hope to see you.